First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone while I learned his truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is news and events, NYC, deadly shooting. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to sweep you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick news article here by CBS News. And it reads, it said, gunman in NYC office shooting tried to target NFL headquarters. Mayor Eric Adams says, Salakia. So we see it right here that this is kind of like remind me of what happened in New Orleans back in January, when they had that this guy came through and he pretty much kind of ran over about 14 people. I can't remember how many was unalive, but right here we already knowing that this could be another false flag event. This could be what you call MK Ultra, this mind controlling thing. They have a lot of sleeper cells already in place to start all sorts of chaos, mass shooting, some type of like that what happened in New Orleans, all sorts of different events and calamities and things that they can bring forth. They could bring forth some type of like this here mass shooting. So we constantly seeing these things and constantly increasing because we know that the devil has a very short time. That's why this man is constantly signing all these different executive orders, one behind another, constantly bringing forth this total draconian laws, this total dictatorship, it's a total control, the NWO. So that's where we headed, so one day that caused the chaos, then they'll bring forth a solution. So he could, I wouldn't be surprised this man could write another executive order on what gun reform, so it's, right now we kind of, pretty much, the Lord is constantly making Esau bearer and bearer. And one thing about we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So right now this man constantly trying to get that advantage, constantly trying to bring forth his evil schemes, his lies and deception. So let's get a little bit of this report here. It says here, the shooter behind a deadly rampage inside an office building in Midtown Manhattan on Monday evening was apparently targeting NFL office there in New York City. Mayor Eric Adams said Tuesday morning. Said law enforcement sources says investigator recovered a 3-page rambling note from the gunman Shane Tamara, said Wallet, said in which he referenced the brain disease CTE. According to the source, the note said he wanted to have his brain donated to science so it could study for the disease. So apparently this man had some type of percussion or whatever from the NFL or whatever like that. He was coming to this building trying to target this NFL person. You know what I'm saying? We'll put it like that. I don't want to talk too much on it, but we're seeing right now he's trying to target someone, or blame someone for whatever happened. But this right here sounds just like you don't know what this could be real or we don't know, but we're not ignorant of Satan's device, all the deception and the lies. This man right here is something else. But just like I say, that look up MK Ultra. Also, I think it's Operation Mockingbird. I think I'm not mistaken. But one thing about it, this is what this looked like, MK Ultra. They can give someone some type of command, but we can't go into it because they could put a video down. But let's read a little bit more of this. It said he did have a note on him. Said the note allude to that he felt he had CTE, a known brain injury for those who participate, say, in contact sport. Say he appeared to have blamed the NFL for his injury. Adams said on on CBS mornings. So, and we see it right here. We see how this is going right here. So all of a sudden, this man in broad daylight with an assault weapon just walking across, I think downtown Manhattan. You know, man, come on, man. This is getting very ridiculous. We already knowing Esau playbook, and also we already knowing that the love of many is constantly waxing cold and cold, and also the Lord is sending these spirit of vengeance out each and every day, whether it was real or whether it was fake. It's all through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Shema Bashar. That's all we're gonna get of this report. You said the guy was 27-year-old from Las Vegas. You know, he drove cross country to New York. So that's right there. That sounds kind of odd too, but we got a video to bring it out with a little bit more edification. I don't want to read too much of it, but we're seeing right here that these things gonna constantly pick up. We know that this man is the master of all sorts of deceptions and lies and deceit. You know, one thing with everything that come out of this man's mouth is a lie. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we already know that he's getting ready to use that sword in a big way. His military, his technology, you know, we're going into this digital infrastructure, dealing with AI, all sorts of things. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that they can put together. You know, they can make something seem this way and it be another way. You know, this man read something else. And also, this man can come with this fake alien invasion, you know, what you call a Project Bluebeam. So this man has a lot of different technologies that he can use, you know, and also, you know, you have to have a spirit of discernment to be able to discern what is real and what ain't real, what is right and what is wrong. So that's the point where we at right now. So let's get this right quick. Let's go here to 2 Corinthians. Let's go straight to the point. A very short lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shema Bashar. It says here, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11 said, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So the physical counterpart of Satan is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. He do that evil bidding, you know, from the left-hand side. And also he's trying to get that advantage, you know what I'm saying, bringing forth these draconian laws, you know, all this different deception, you know, these things that he's constantly trying to entice you with, you know what I'm saying, trying to bring forth that agenda, that plan, once again, total control. But it said, we are not ignorant of his devices. Who is not ignorant of his device? The true believers of Yahweh by Shema Bashar, starting with the prophets and a great multitude. And one thing about it, you know, and then when you go into that word device, it goes into his mindset. So we seeing right now, this man is constantly bringing all sorts of order out of chaos. And one thing about it, he started the chaos and he come with a solution. That's why it says in Sirach, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10, it said, never trust thy enemy, as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So that's where we at right now. This man is, you know, he's very wicked, constantly bringing forth these evil schemes. So let's read this in the NLT and we'll start today's video. It says here, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil scheme. We're very familiar with his playbook each and every day. He's going to start something, might blow up something over here, might start some type of mass shooting, or it might cause have a man to go through a crowd of people with a big ass truck or whatever it may be. He's gonna start all kind of chaos, because what? He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. So we're seeing right now these things gonna constantly pick up, one executive order behind another, one event behind another. You know, he's one murder behind another. You know, we seeing that we're here. You know, right now we seeing that this place is very wicked, you know, it's very dark, you know, all sorts of deceptions and lies. That's why the Lord said to deceive, and the deceivers is his, says the Lord. So the Lord is in perfect control. So now let's start today's video, and after the video, we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
What drives a man to journey over 2,000 miles, crossing a continent with a military-grade weapon, just to shatter the evening rush hour in the heart of New York City? On Monday, we got a horrific answer. I'm standing just blocks from where the unthinkable happened. At 6:28 p.m., as thousands of New Yorkers were heading home, Shane Devin Tamura exited his car on Park Avenue. He was carrying an M4 assault-style rifle. He walked into the lobby of the skyscraper at 345 Park Avenue and opened fire. His first target, and the first to fall, was a man who had dedicated his life to protecting others, Officer Didarul Islam. And this is where the tragedy becomes almost unbearable. Officer Islam was off duty. He was working a security job to provide for his family. He was a 36-year-old immigrant from Bangladesh, his parents' only son, a man who had achieved his dream of joining the NYPD. He was a husband and a father to 2 young sons. His wife is pregnant, expecting their 3rd child. He died a hero, trying to protect the innocent. But the gunman's rampage wasn't random. While he had a concealed carry permit for a handgun in his home state of Nevada, obtaining a powerful rifle like the M4 is a different matter, highlighting a stark contrast in gun laws across the country. After shooting 3 people in the lobby, Tamura took an elevator, deliberately letting a woman exit unharmed before he ascended. His destination? The 33rd floor, the offices of Rudin Management. There, he killed 1 more person before turning the gun on himself. Investigators are now piecing together his cross-country drive from Las Vegas, a silent, 3-day journey of rage. Was he a disgruntled employee? A client with a vendetta? We know he had a license as a private investigator, but no significant criminal record. He was a ghost, until he wasn't. In the end, 4 innocent lives were stolen. Another person is fighting for their life, and a family that was joyfully awaiting a new baby is now planning a funeral for their hero. The police will give us the facts, but the story leaves us with a chilling, unanswered question. How many more invisible journeys like this are unfolding on our highways right now, heading for a destination we won't know about until it's too late?
Have you noticed the 3 suspicious points in the Manhattan tragedy? The last one might be the real reason. First, the killer, Shane Tamura, traveled from Nevada to New York and caused immense pain to 5 families. Among those affected was a heroic policewoman who was about to finish her shift. Upon spotting Tamura, she immediately stepped forward. Despite being injured, she still tried her best to stop the tragedy from escalating. Her bravery saved over 30 people. Sadly, she couldn't make it in the end. If this heroine's story also moves you, let's pray for her together in the comments section. Second, Tamura had a serious history of mental illness, yet he was able to obtain a permit from Nevada. This raises questions about Nevada's permit application review process. Lastly, Tamura was once a star running back on the Reno High School football team in Nevada, but had to retire due to a foot injury. This injury not only ended his career, but also drastically changed his life path. This experience might have greatly affected his mental state, but the specific connection remains under investigation. What's your take on this?
A very active investigation here in Midtown Manhattan where police say a gunman opened fire with a high-powered rifle at this building right here at 345 Park Avenue, killing 3 people and 1 officer. You can see the glass shattered from what appears to be gunshots at this building where police say the gunman started shooting. One of the glasses completely shattered. What appears to be a small gunshot over there. And then there's another over to the right-hand side. Here's everything that you need to know. Authorities identified the gunman as Shane Tamura of Las Vegas. Police say he had a documented mental health history. According to police, around 6:30 p.m. on Monday, the suspect opened fire in the lobby of this building and then made his way to the 33rd floor where he killed the last victim before taking his own life. The name of the 3 victims have not been released, but police have identified the NYPD police officer killed as Diderol Islam. The officer was working as a uniformed security guard here at this building. He had been with the police force for 3.5 years and was a father of 2 boys. His wife is pregnant with their 3rd child. Mayor Eric Adams of New York posted on X and called him a hero. And right now, flags are at half staff as the community mourns the loss of innocent lives. And we'll continue to follow this story and bring you all the latest details.
So we're seeing right now, this reads just like a script, so we're not ignorant of Satan's device. So also we already knowing that they passed that executive order, it was kind of strange. I just thought about it, that homelessness, to make being homeless illegal. Also, it was saying that they are going to take homeless people off the street. Also, people that have mental illness and also drug addiction. So if you're seeing all this stuff, how this stuff playing into place, left and right. So let's start here. Let's go to let's go to Job chapter 13. It's just gonna get 1 or 2. We're gonna close out. Not meant to be a long lesson. So we seeing that this playbook pretty much every day. It's beginning to be very familiar. What this man is gonna do. You already know what happened back in 2020. With that pandemic. So right now this man is constantly starting this shit back over again. And one thing about it, we cannot wait for the Lord to take him out of the way. We cannot wait. His time is very short. We cannot wait for this red devil going and remove him. You know what I'm saying? Disappoint him, oh Lord. Job chapter 13 and verse 4, straight to the point. It says here, said, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. You know, that's talking about what the so-called white man. This man, all he do is lies and shit. Put out lies and deceit, the bloody and deceitful man. Let's read this in the NLT. It said, as for you, you smear me with lies as physicians. You are worthless quacks. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, he's very worse. He's imagining what a vain thing. And I bet they are all forgers of lies. You know, this could have been a psyop, could have been a false flag event, could have been crisis actors. The list go on and on. Could have been MK Ultra, this mind controlling thing. You know, there's a lot of things that they can do. You know, AI, all sorts of things they can produce and make it look like it's real. You know, so one thing about it, you know, it's going to be a lot of deception and lies that is going on. That's why the Lord said in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 4 said, take heed that no man deceive you. So let's go here to Proverbs chapter 4, and we'll start up at verse 16. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 16. And it reads, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and they sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. So that's exactly what's happening. You know, they constantly being busy about it unless they've done some type of mischief or some type of chaos, you know, to cause someone to fall or be unalive. You know, left and right, bring forth that agenda, total control. Verse 17 said, for they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. So that's exactly what they do, left and right. This man is the deceitful, the bloody and deceitful man, which in fact is Esau, even the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. This man loved violence. You know what I'm saying? Since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. So this man constantly bringing forth all sorts of mischief, lies, and deceits, left and right. You know, so that's what we constantly seeing. And the Lord is constantly exposing this red devil. So let's go here to Psalm chapter 52. Let's get this one here, just random scriptures. Psalm chapter 52. Psalm chapter 52 and verse 2. Psalm chapter 52 and verse 2. So it's another one right here about all these lies and deception. But we already know that the Lord is causing these things to happen. He's constantly exposing this man on a very high level. It says here, thy tongue devises mischief, said like a sharp razor working deceitfully. That's exactly what this red devil is doing. Well, he's working that tongue very deceitfully, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. You know what I'm saying? Let's read it in NLT. So all day long you plot destruction. Your tongue cut like a sharp razor. So you're an expert at telling lies. Exactly right. This devil is a damn, known expert. He has a PhD in, lies and deception. You know what I'm saying? This man is the master of death. You know, he's a stone cold born killer. You know what I'm saying? One thing about this man is what you call, go back to Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. The serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. This man is cunning, lie, deception. You know what I'm saying? This man is, but the Lord's getting ready to take him out of the way. So we're very close to these times. So now let's go to our last and final script. Now let's go here first. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2. I see that rain coming down. Habakkuk chapter 2. Just a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. I seen Vegas Sit Down did a lesson on this, and I think Elder Yasarama out of Dallas did a lesson. So I'm just putting my little twist to it. And once again, I hope that you get edified. Let's go here to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 16. It said, thou art filled with shame for glory. It said, drink thou also. It said, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. It said, the cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful experience shall be on thy glory. So that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing that the Lord is constantly what? Lifting his skirt, lifting that foreskin, constantly what? Making it more obvious and clear. You know, anything that was hid in the dark is coming to the light. Anything that was covered is being uncovered now. You know, so the Lord, we're in that time right now. The Lord is constantly exposing everything. Everything is going to be fulfilled. You're going to be exposed. You're going to be found out that you are the devil that the Bible speaks of. So we're here. Let's read it in NLT. It said, but soon it will be your turn to be disgraced. It said, come, drink and be exposed. It said, drink from the cup of the Lord judgment. It said, and all your glory will be turned to shame. So that's where we at right now. This man, you know, everyone is getting ready to turn upon this wicked red devil. You know, and one thing about it, we already know that right now, you know, the stage is set for World War III. The stage is set for the MOTB. You know, we know that they're gonna bring forth that MOTB before they bring forth those nuclear missiles. You know, also we know that the Lord is getting ready to return. We're seeing that we're very close to this time. We're in some very perilous times, some very serious time. We're in some very exciting time. We're seeing it happening right before our eye. And right now, pretty much everyone is pretty much what has been awakened to who is this man of sin is, this man of perdition. Everybody pretty much know that it's the so-called white man, you know, robbing, stealing, and killing, causing all these problems on this earth. But one thing about it, you know, Lord he says, has brought forth shameful spirit upon his glory. You know, shame, you know, people beginning to see, you know, who this man really is. And one thing about it, and these nations are very angry. And one thing about it, we already know when you go to Revelation chapter 17, they shall burn the whore. So this place is getting ready to be totally destroyed. Also Esau, Edom, you know, he's getting ready to be cut off. The Lord's getting ready to take him out of rulership. So now let's go to our last and final script. Let's go here to 1 Peter chapter 5. 1 Peter chapter 5. Let's see right here. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse start here at verse. Let's go straight to the point. Verse 8. It says here, 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8 said, be sober, be vigilant, said, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So that's where we at right now. You know, say be sober. You know, that means have a clear mind, a sober mind, stay alert. It's also be vigilant, Salaki, so be watchful. You know what I'm saying? Because your adversary, you know what I'm saying, the enemy, which in fact is the devil that the Bible speaks of, the so-called white man, he's like a roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour, who he may deceive, the one that he can destroy. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at right now. You know, this man right here, knowing he's in that short season, he's knowing that his time is very short. That's why we're gonna constantly see these mischief behind mischief, events after events, you know, destruction after destruction, all sorts of different chaos and calamity that this man is constantly bringing forth upon the earth. But the Lord is constantly shedding light on this red devil. He's making this devil exposing this red devil for what he really is. And one thing about it, that we know that the Lord is getting ready to return. So one thing about it, all we must do is trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. We're not caring about these mass shootings. We're not caring about he's bringing forth this new digital infrastructure. We're not giving a damn about the MOTB. We're going to trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, whatever end it may be, even in death. The Lord said he would give us a crown of life. Trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So the title of the day's lesson, once again, is News and Events. NYC Deadly Shooting. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Ba'ashim Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.